Hello, and welcome to Brand Clarity by Visions to Images, where we focus on strategy and business development for entrepreneurs at all different levels through branding and digital marketing techniques. Susie Liberatore is the founder and art director of Visions to Images Creative Services, LLC. For the last decade, she has personally been instrumental in bridging gaps between the global digital market and neighborhood locations for some of the biggest brands around. Growth is possible for even a single location with the right professional branding techniques and Susie's signature strategies of Visions to Images. Stand out from your competitors and bring your visions to life while watching your sales skyrocket. Your host for this is Susie Liberatore, owner of Visions to Images. All right. Today on the podcast, I have Steve Walbolt, president of MDG Flooring, and I've known him for quite a while now, and I've really enjoyed watching him grow and blossom and doing all these entrepreneur journeys. So I'm glad to have him on today. Hi, Steve.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about how you got started into the entrepreneur world, because I know that's a fun story.
Yeah, so it started really back in, I guess I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. But it started back really in 2015, 2016 is when I started learning more and more about it. I came up through corporate America. I didn't go to college. I wasn't smart enough, barely made it out of high school. In 2015, 2016 is when our company that I was with, it was just changing. I started with that company when we had a couple hundred stores. It was an automotive company. And by the time I left, there was over 5,000. Well, with that type of growth, they kind of lost their ways, their values and stuff like that. You were just a number at that point. I hated someone telling me when I had to go to work and when I had to leave. I managed 15 stores for them, and I couldn't even give somebody a quarter raise. That became ridiculous to me. You didn't value your people anymore. My cousin, Don Green, he was working at his family flooring company, which I'm part of now, MDG Flooring America in Medina, Ohio, and they were struggling. My uncle had a bad car accident back in 2007. He's still with us today. He's in a home assisted living. And Donnie and my aunt really didn't have any business knowledge or experience, but they knew flooring inside and out. So, after I got sick of it, Donnie and I always talked about business. And one day it's like, man, what if we just partner up and buy this thing and fix it? And here we are today.
I know, 20 years of MDG Flooring for an amazing accomplishment. And I love that story. I always love hearing it over and over again because I know the background of that. So thanks for sharing. So tell me, I know you have more entrepreneur journeys and I know you kind of have your mastermind coming up. So tell me kind of what you're excited about as far as that stuff goes.
Yeah, so I have my hands in quite a bit of stuff. I have a real estate rental portfolio, and now I am launching my mastermind group, which is going to be more virtual for small businesses in general. There's a lot of masterminds out there dedicated to just real estate, and I think there's a major need for small businesses as a whole. A lot of small business owners, not to be mean, but really don't own a company. They own a job. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing in the last 5 years I've learned is how to get out of my own way. And that's why we're launching our mastermind to help create a community of higher level people that want to grow. It's not always money. Sometimes it's just buying your time back too, to where God forbid they go down. They're not crippled the rest of their life. Their business can still survive. They can still make money and they protect their families. Yeah. So we're looking at launching that October 1st. I have invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into myself going to these masterminds, and it has scaled me and catapulted me into things I would have never realized, especially with the business we're at today. And we're taking that knowledge and bringing on I think our cost is $299 a month with a 12-month commitment. But when you look at it, it's $3,600 a year. You can't grow off $3,600 a year. There's something wrong because we're bringing so much value, speakers, diving into people's businesses, truly helping them dissect it and scale, basically.
Yeah, I love it. When I first came into business, I was in a million pieces and trying to do all the things and just, picking and choosing and having low costs and doing what I could do to make the money and all that. And then I think the second or third year in, what I really wanted to grow is when I hired sales coach / mastermind, where that kind of became my turning point of where I really understood my value. I invested in myself. It was not a cost at first, that I wanted to take on. I was like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. But at the same time, I knew I had to grow and I had to scale. And I needed to invest in myself. And a lot of people always ask me, like, what's your biggest thing if you could tell somebody and give them advice if they're starting off? And I would say, invest in yourself, hire that mentor, get in a mastermind, hire something, like do something that's going to give you what you need to be successful. You can't run your own business all the time. And I've learned that as well. Like a year ago, I was outsourcing. Now I'm finally outsourcing and not having my hands in everything. So I think that's part of where a mastermind is so valuable, and you get that experience and collaboration with all those people.
Well, and I think too, I look at it as when I said earlier, get out of your own way. There's a lot of business owners that they're very prideful. I'm still prideful today, but try to stay in my lane. Not to burst anybody's bubble, but we're not as important as sometimes we think we are. My fiance and I and the kids took a 3-week trip, and I'm thinking the bottom's going to fall out. The place ran better without me. That means we have right people in the right spots. And, I'm a big process procedure type of guy, but, I hear a lot of guys brag about how much they work, how long the days they have, but they're doing a disservice to not only themselves, their family, and their team. Why would anybody want to come work for you if they see that you're just murdering yourself and have to work 6, 7 day, 10+ hour days? That doesn't make sense to me. You're not giving your team that motivation, like, hey, I want to take on more responsibility with your company. I want to help you, because that's just taken away from their personal time and their family time. And that's one thing I am very passionate about, is how to get time back. Everyone thinks success is money. And yes, you need money to buy things and to scale, but a lot of it's the time freedom. And that's a lot of our commitment to our members in our community of our mastermind.
So tell me about your mastermind. Like, what makes you unique out of everybody else? Because like you said, there's a million masterminds you can go through. What is unique about this one?
Well, I hate to say price point, but price point definitely helps, especially, when someone might think they can't afford to be a part of a mastermind. We've got it down to a monthly payment plan. We get a 1-week call that the community gets on, and we'll have speakers once a month, higher level speakers come in that, if I hired them to come to an event, it might cost me $5,000, $10,000 for one day, but they'll be coming in the group, and that's included. The other thing is just a collaboration. I don't know everything, and I know that, but the community we're building and putting an investment on, you're going to get a higher caliber person in there. So if I don't know something, someone else in the community does. And we're opening the doors to our power team, I call it. Susie, you're part of our power team.
Yeah.
Our marketing team.
Yeah.
So obviously you're going to be a part of that. If someone has questions on it, I don't have any business talking about it. That's you.
I'm glad that you understand that and know that, because like you said, though, sometimes people can be prideful and or try to say, oh, I know all the things, and you really can't know all the things, right? Like if it came to flooring, I would be like, I don't know what I'm talking about. Just install it. Like, you got to know, you got to stay in your lane.
That's a great thing. Cause 5 years ago, when I was doing a lot of networking, when I first bought the company, I kind of BS'd my way through stuff thinking like I had to know about flooring to go to these events. And now the honest truth is I don't know much about it. But I do know business, and I'm very resourceful. And if I don't know it, I know who to do the what, basically.
Right.
So with that being said, like when I go to a networking event today, like, hey, I'm not your guy to talk to. I'll connect you with our team. They're awesome. You don't want to talk to me because I'll fail you. And that's why we have people in certain spots.
Right.
And, think of it. I'm no expert at marketing. I understand enough of it, but we've outsourced our marketing to you to handle that. And look what it's done for our business. That's an investment.
Yeah.
A lot of people look at this as a cost, and it's not. It's a true investment of your company and what's your ROI going to be.
Right.
A lot of small businesses, some of the first things they cut is people and marketing. Well, you're cutting your own throat at that point. Why would you do that in a slow time? Why don't you dive into the details, what I call KPIs, key performance indicators, and see the true root cause of why you're slowing down?
Hey, let's stop for just 1 second during this podcast episode. I know you're so excited to get back and listen, but I wanted to chat with you and talk about how we really work with businesses. What we really do is we dive in and we ask so many questions. We go through a series of questionnaires and extensive research to really help you get a clear, identifiable plan of action that needs to happen for your business. If you want to hear more about this, go to visions2images.com, click the contact us button, and we will be happy to set up a time to chat more. It's highly affordable. I mean, that's very low cost. Like you said, you're in masterminds that cost like 30 grand a year. So it's not like that's a super affordable price for small business owners. So I definitely love that you have that option for them.
Yeah. And be brutally honest, I'm no guru. I'm not trying to be a guru. I still run my companies, on a daily basis. Even though I might not be a part of it day to day, we're still operators of our company. So you have somebody that's leading it. And my partner, Scott Hannes with Fortitude HR, this guy is complete rock star when it comes to helping scale companies, organizing them, protecting them. Again, another thing we outsourced here at MDG Flooring was our HR department. And again, people think you need to, it's going to cost me 50, 60, 70 grand a year to hire an HR manager when I don't do that. There's third-party companies that do it, and Scott's one of them. So for example, when we hired Scott, we were doing, I think, 3.2 million annually in gross sales.
Mm-hmm.
With him now, and it hasn't even been a year. We will end this year close to 6 million. Probably won't break 6 million, but probably be at like 5.8, 5.9 million.
It's amazing.
And it is, again, it goes back to hiring the right people. Was it a costly investment? Absolutely. But guess what? The return on it, that was nothing. And we have him on retainage every month for our HR stuff. It keeps us protected. Our team's happier. He keeps us all organized and in line. It's kind of funny because I call him the Toby. If you ever watch The Office, he's Toby and I'm Michael. It's a cool partnership with our mastermind too, because, I'm the innovator and he's the one that, puts it on paper and maps out the vision, which is a super cool thing. So, in theory, I think his retainage is somewhere from $1,200 to $1,500 a month. You're getting him at $299 a month, maybe not as detailed. I highly suggest you hire him too, because he's life-changing, but you get a guy like that, you get you on the marketing, we're opening up the playbook for other small businesses.
No, I love it. Okay. My last question for you is, if you could give anybody advice, what would it be? Whether they're kind of starting off in the entrepreneur world, any advice that you have that you kind of wish you knew?
Take action. There's so many people out there today that they learn so much stuff, they confuse themselves. Well, it's not the right time. It's never going to be the right time. If you want to do something, truly take action. Sometimes overlearning can hinder you because you're so confused. I see a ton of people go to 10 different masterminds, but they haven't done anything. In my opinion, that's a waste of money.
Sure.
It's a waste of money at that point. Yeah, I watched one guy, I'm not going to say his name or anything, but spent over $100 grand the last 3 years on masterminds and still today has not left his job, has not done anything, but he has all this knowledge and hasn't applied it anywhere because he's learned too many things. I was doing a lot of stuff 4 years ago. And when I learned to say no to a lot, cut out the things that weren't serving me, I wasn't passionate about. Now I stick to our flooring company, our real estate, and now our mastermind. Everything else I've learned to say no to,
I think that's important. Yeah. Learning to say no, even for the things. I've learned that as well. Yeah.
I chase the shiny object syndrome big time. And I have to tell myself day in, day out, like, no, I'm committed to this and that's it. Until I have mastered this, I don't go in another lane. But I think a lot of people talk and they just don't take action. What's going to happen? I see people afraid to leave their job. Well, if you have enough money saved up, in 90 days, it doesn't work out, especially in today's world. You don't think that company's going to take you back. So put you behind 90 days. I'd rather be down 90 days knowing I tried than what if 20 years down the road, what if I did this? And I've never heard somebody that's left their job to go out on their own say, I wish I went back to my job. Still today, I've never heard it.
Nope, me neither. And I think that take action is so important. A lot of times, everybody is procrastinating, finds excuses, is scared, doesn't take the risk, like whatever, all those reasons. Like I hear people, they'll moan and groan and complain about whatever. Oh, I couldn't do it because of this. Oh, this or that. Like, no, I mean, you and I kind of know the other side of my investment as well. But I knew, like, I don't want to talk too much about it on here, but it was a risk for me to really say, do I want to do this? Is the investment worth it? Okay, let's do it. So understanding, like you said, like take action. Like I needed to force myself to take that action, not only for that, but also in all my business end of things. Like if you don't take action, nothing's going to change.
If you're going to bet on somebody, wouldn't you bet on yourself? And you got to have faith.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know it all. And quite frankly, if I knew everything about our flooring company when we purchased it, how bad it was then. And that's no knock on my aunt or Donnie, because what they've made it through, I don't know many people that could have, but I probably wouldn't have bought it because it was so bad. It forced me to learn, and it forced me like, hey, if we can get through this, we can do anything. There's nothing that's going to stop us. You're not going to know everything right away, and you got to learn to accept that. Sometimes the journey is learning as you go, and that actually is a major part of the journey, is always learning.
Agreed. 100%. You always have to learn and adapt and adjust and ask for help. And I think like when you build that foundation for your business, like MDG Flooring, now you built these other foundations as well. So you're able to carry it through, which is amazing as well, because now you got all that back.
One of my mentors says it all the time, and I could not agree more. You overestimate what you can do in 12 months, but way underestimate what you can do in 5 years. I'm at my 5-year mark of just over 5 years, actually, here at MDG Flooring. I would not have imagined it turned into what it is today, and the scale and just the other opportunities that it has brought. That's 5 years. Like, that's not a long time. There's a lot of business owners that have been doing it a long time, and they're like, I've been doing this 20 years. Well, quite frankly, I want to ask them, why aren't you good at it? Why haven't you learned anything else to scale or get out of your own way?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes lose the pride.
For sure. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing all these details. I'm excited about MDG, of course, and your mastermind.
Couldn't do it without you. Couldn't do it without you.
Thank you, everybody, for listening in on today's Brand Clarity episode with Susie Libertor. 2 things. First and foremost, please, if you liked this episode, please subscribe and leave some positive reviews. Also, don't forget to sign up for Stop Sending Your Customers to the Competition and get my insider secrets to compelling branding that converts. You can find that at branding-bridge.com. It's a free workbook for you to check out right now. All of the branding techniques and strategies that I use for my paying clients.